Welcome to the Support of Ambition, where we celebrate creativity, ambition, and the journey of bringing big ideas to life. I'm your host, Danny, and each week I'll introduce you to inspiring voices from all walks of life. Artists, innovators, and dreamers who are pushing boundaries and redefining what's possible. This podcast is about the power of support, shared stories, and the belief that we're all stronger when we lift each other up. Thanks for joining us on this journey. Let's dive in. Today, we're excited to welcome LaFawn Carter to the show. LaFawn is a dynamic individual whose journey spans a fascinating range of creative pursuits. From her beginnings as a skilled makeup artist, where her and I first crossed paths way back in 2006, if you can believe that, to her evolution into an image consultant, visual merchandiser, and now a dedicated real estate agent. LaFawn has mastered the art of reinvention. She brings with her a wealth of experience, a passion for connecting with people, and an unwavering commitment to her family, especially with her two kids, Xavier and Brooklyn. Today, we'll explore LaFawn's inspiring story of growth, her creative approach to every role she takes on, and how she continues to pursue her dreams with both purpose and drive. So, LaFawn, welcome to the Support of Ambition.
Thank you so much.
It's very great to have you here to discuss your journey. And I think journey might be the most appropriate word for the evolution that you've been on.
Yeah, I would say I've morphed into many things.
Yeah. Well, let's start not from the beginning, but let's start more at the early. Like right now, you're located in Washington as a real estate agent. Share a little bit about, if you can, what your background that brought you from where we met in San Diego to Washington.
Actually, I met my husband in San Diego, and that's the initial reason why I'm in Washington, looking for job opportunities for him. And at the time, I was a mortician.
Ooh.
So that quickly escalated. That's kind of how I wind up out here. And then kind of went into, from that, I just dropped that whole career and decided to get into visuals.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did your time in fashion merchandising and customer service and visuals and whatnot, how did that shape your professional approach and passion for connecting with people?
I think I already had like that connection with people as far as socialization. So, I was I was always invited to parties and events and things like that. So being a social butterfly propelled me to actually tap into that and add it to working with people in the retail industry. So I started with, remember when Juicy Couture was like hot? Mm-hmm. So they had a little pop-up store, like a, what did they call it? Like a boutique. And then I kind of got into like visuals there because I've always had a creative brain. So I think just watching some of the girls and I'm kind of like, y'all should do this and maybe that. And, my displays tend to be, where people focus most on. So I would set it up a certain way and they would buy it. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. So that's kind of how I morphed into that and then left there and went to Coach, doing the same thing, and then went out to Toomey. So, Toomey Luggage is kind of where that I thought maybe I wanted to get into the corporate world of things. But I met all types of people there, which was really cool. So yeah, that's kind of how I kind of went through there, and then started my own consulting business doing image consulting, dressing people for a living. And all of a sudden, I hopped into real estate. So I don't, I'm like, wait, that's a completely different ball game. So, but the customer service and relating with people tend to, um, it was the consistency of
Hmm.
every career
Yeah. Yeah.
paths that I decided to go down. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, how did
Yeah.
you bring elements of your creativity as a fashion or a visual merchandiser and your personal connection? How do you bring that into your real estate practice?
That's a really good question. Um, I think my image consulting, where I like to get dressed up. So I actually organize my closet by color.
Nice.
So that's still a thing. But I feel as though homes have an element of design and
Hmm.
beauty and architecture that I'm attracted to. And then making people feel happy and
Mm.
unstressed as much as I can about purchasing. So once we get through the business side of things and the contracts and some of the stuff that, could cause stress because it's the hugest investment that you're
Yeah.
making,
Hmm.
um, and bring the element of excitement and fun and oohs and ahs about walking to into a home for the first time. I love looking at homes. So I'm always fascinated at, the construction of it, um, the style, you know, each home has its own style. So I
Yeah.
think that's where the creative brain of, I wouldn't want to build my own house. Let's get that clear. Picking out finishes, I'm not the best. So I just like it to look good,
Right. Right.
and along with the um what do they call it? The staging,
Right. Right. That's what I was about to say. The staging. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, the staging of it all. And I'm like, ooh, this is pretty. So yeah. It's beauty in everything, right? So
Right.
you
That's
just
true.
kind of find that. Yeah. And taking older homes and kind of helping people see the transition of it. Like, ooh, you can put this over here. And how do you feel about, all you got to do is change the carpet or, put a little money into some paint, you know,
Hmm.
not a huge fixer upper, but yeah, that's my favorite part.
Would you say
Her.
there was a pivotal moment or experience that said, you know what? I really want to pursue this real estate full time or this new career.
Actually, my grandmother um, got me, or is where I became interested in real estate.
Okay.
She was pivotal in my life as far as she felt that anything I can put my mind to, I could do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she's always been that for me. We were very, very close. I would say she was my bestie. Um, yeah, so once I became interested in real estate and told her about it, she was like, yeah, you should do that. And I'm like,
Nice.
okay, I will. And I thought it would be easy, huge mistake, um, because everything always felt very natural and easy for me,
Okay.
especially in the creative realm. So, kind of when I went the other route, I didn't realize that it's not. about just selling a home. You have to learn contracts and building codes and
Mm-hmm.
setback requirements and all these different elements that I was like, whoa, like, what did I get myself into? Man, I thought I was dumb. Honestly, when I took the test,
Oh gosh.
I would pass one portion and then fail the next
Oh
because
no.
Washington is a broker state. So, and some states have like salesperson, real estate salesperson,
Mm-hmm.
real estate agent. You can become a broker, which means I can, with time and experience, I can open up my own brokerage at one
Right.
point. I don't think I want to do that. However,
Never say
yeah,
never.
so yeah, I failed. And then and then every time I was like, I'm going to quit. I don't think this is for me. And then I just kept at it, I didn't give up. It's, it was like, I can beat this, like I can do this. So I think after the fifth time, like my last time going, and I said, you know what, God, I said, if I fail this time, this is the last time I'm taking this test because you
Mm-hmm.
have to pay for it every time.
Oh goodness. Wow. Okay.
So, yeah. And some people, you know, they pass on the first time and, all those celebrations. And I was like, what's wrong with me? And, it was like one word in a sentence or an answer that changed the whole perspective of
Mm.
the question. So I'm like, is it and or is it or? Or is it
Oh
then or
goodness.
is it then?
Oh
Yeah,
no.
or it was like these, is it is? I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. So, and I overthink things, which was my hugest defeat. But the last time I took the test, it prints out right then, like a cosmetology,
Yes.
license. So when I
Yes.
took my cosmetology license, I passed, that's an interesting story because I got sick on the way to take that test.
Oh no.
I had food poisoning
Oh
and I
goodness.
was driving to LA and I went to the wrong facility. I had to stop many times.
Oh.
And yeah, I was running in and out of every Shell Chevron station I
Oh
could
my goodness.
find. Got there dehydrated.
Oh no.
But anyway, I passed because they felt bad for me and let me take the test in that facility. And then, yeah, but you pass and they print it out right
Okay.
then.
Mhm.
The last time I took the test, like I didn't overthink it. I just went through it, um, answered the questions and was like, kind of like that. Forget it. I'm just going to answer as
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it is. And so they printed out the test. And then I was shocked because I thought he gave me the wrong person's name. And he was like, congratulations, you passed. And then he handed me this paper and I was like, my mouth dropped. I was like, I passed. And then I ran out of there like I
Before
stole
he changes his
something.
mind.
Yeah, before ma'am, miss, I gave you the wrong thing. And then I got in the car and I bawled my eyes out, honestly.
Oh wow.
Like I bawled. And then I called my
Mhm.
husband and he was like, and I'm crying, right? And he's like, oh, how much did you miss it by this
Oh no.
time? And I was like, no, but that's it though. I passed, crying all the way home, which was, I had to pull over again to another Shell station to collect myself. And then I drove home. It was like bawling my eyes out. But, I think my kids is why, my children was the reason why I kept going because I didn't want them to think they go after their dreams and not to quit.
Right.
If
Right.
I would have quit, then I would have been sending the wrong message. So,
Right.
they would be like, you failed. And I'm like, yes, I'm not going to do it again. And then I'll do it again. And I'll pass one portion and fail the other because you have to take state and national.
Right.
So, yeah, that's that crazy story. Oh, I have many of those, but yeah.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned your children, because that was going to be what I was going to ask next was how do they inspire and or influence your work and personal growth?
I am very lucky to have them in my life. I feel as though I shifted gears, especially leaving San Diego
Hmm.
and coming up here where I didn't know anybody.
Right.
Um, it was very fearful, scary, and exciting at the same time because then I could reinvent myself without the outer influence of other people.
Right.
I think sometimes people see you as one way, and then when you try to change up, it's like a wait a minute, what's going on? Kind of thing. They want to keep you in that place because
Okay.
they
Yeah.
recognize you as such.
Hmm.
So when I got here, I was like, I'm gonna do the full like mommy thing. Like I wanted to bake. I wanted to we would dress up. I would pretend like we lived in a castle and I would wear a gown and
Nice.
a tiara and I would dress them up, even though I would be like ironing, it was weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, we have this 2-story home and every time I walked down the stairs in my robe, I felt like I was coming to,
No.
it was just, I'm very, you know, I don't want to say creative again, but fantasy life, like this
Yeah.
is
No, I got you.
fun, like we're gonna have fun.
Hmm.
We read books, and that's how I grew more and more was by their eyes lighting up, and
Oh, okay.
you know,
Yeah.
um, we would have fun. We used to pretend. I used to put on hip hop dance videos, and
Okay.
then we would pretend like we were hip hop dancers and they were like my background dancers. And my grandmother bought my son a drum set and Brooklyn
Oh,
had a guitar, so I would
nice.
record us like pretending we were a rock band, like
Right on.
Metallica,
Yeah.
Godsmack, like some of those rock bands, and we would rock out. But yeah, we had some fun.
Yeah.
Oh, I so our moving boxes, I broke them all apart and I made a slide to go down the stairs. Now, I did not think this through fully.
Okay.
Xavier didn't want to go, but Brooklyn did.
Ah,
And she was younger. And then
right.
I thought, I don't want her to go down by herself. So I slid down with her.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. And there was a wall at the
Uh-oh.
end of this. And I put like a pillow, but the pillow didn't work because from the force, it just shot out to the side.
Hmm.
And then I don't even know how I turned my body, but I slammed into the wall and I was holding her. And then we both looked at each other and I said, "You want to do it again?" And she said, "No." And we both cracked up laughing. And Xavier was standing at the top of the stairs, like, "I told you." That's why I didn't want to go. And I'm like, "You right, you right." So I we didn't do it again, but it
No.
was fun.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was, you got to try it
So,
once, right? That's how you
yeah.
learn.
Yeah. So they both are very, very um, smart and they've inspired me. And then we homeschooled in addition to actual
Okay.
school.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. And then I
That's
turned my
cool.
office into my little real estate section and got rid
Nice.
of the homeschool stuff when he went into middle school.
But you left the
And I was
slide
like,
up, right? So,
yeah, we don't slide down these stairs at all. but we've had some fun times here. When it snows, I my husband was like, I tied the kids to the back of the truck with some of his construction belts
Okay.
and tied it to the sleds I had,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I would open the hatchback, and then I would
Okay.
make my husband drive.
Nice.
And well, I was going to drive, and then he came out and said, he said, "You tied the kids to the car?" And I was like, "Yeah, to be fun." And he was like, "I'll drive, you know." So I would film it. And actually, it was fun until we lost Xavier. The belt came off. He went sliding into another section, and I was like, "My baby, stop the car. We lost Xavier." So, yeah, we had to attach him back. He was a little nervous about it, but I was like, "You're fine. You
It'll
just
be all right.
yeah, let me get the snow off your face. You'll be okay." And now
Yeah.
every year we do it. They're like, "You're
Nice.
going to tie us to the car again?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's how we do it in the Carter family."
We tie you
So,
guys to cars.
yeah, I tie the cars. I make them slide downstairs. Oh, I make them do so many things.
Well, that's I mean that's really good. I mean that's how they learn and how you can pass on your experiences to them. Um, but what other than those, tying them up to cars and shoving them downstairs, what other values or lessons from your own journey do you hope to pass on to them?
um, I think resilience would be
Hmm.
one.
Hmm.
Um, just not, I came out of Southeast San Diego. So, and we moved here just so they can have a better
Yeah.
existence outside of, the gangs and things like that. So I feel as though I didn't believe that that was the only route for me. I felt like I was always destined for more. Like,
Yeah.
some people get to a point and they're like, "I guess this is it."
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I I didn't go for that in a sense. So I was like, what else can I do? What else can, you know? So just the resilience and the fact that, from where I came from to where I am now and where I
Hmm.
will be going
Hmm.
was definitely some hard headedness that, this you can do way more than what you think you can.
Yeah.
So that's the main thing, you know. I always say the level's not the level, the next level is. So that's my little saying, you know,
Okay.
this is not the level. Like we're cool now, but let's I push them.
Yeah.
I,
Absolutely.
I definitely push them. Um, and they push me right back. As a parent, I check in with them, and sometimes I ask, "Hey, am I a good mom? Is there anything that you need, or am I
Oh,
too
okay.
strict? Am I not strict enough?" And my son was like, "No, you're Gucci." And I was like, "Okay." Like, is there anything I can improve on, or, you know, and he's like, "Nah, I think we're good. I think, I ain't gonna hold, I ain't gonna hold, you're good." But then we have those times where I'm like, well, it hurts my feelings when, we'll say something that we like about each other, that we love about each other. And then we just say like the next thing, like,
Hmm.
"Okay, I love you. This is what I love about you. However, it hurts my feelings when you do this." And
Mm.
then, he'll say the same thing. And then he says, it hurts my feelings when, you know, you do this. And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, we'll work on that." And I think since then, we communicate very well. We have a great relationship.
Seems
Yeah.
like you have
And
great communication with them, which is, I don't want to say rare, but it doesn't happen that often.
No, it doesn't. I thought it was like the jam. I thought every parent had that. So when I
Mm-hmm.
volunteered at their school, we did like popcorn Friday. I would volunteer and I'd be in the cafeteria at lunch. And some of the other moms are like, oh, I don't think my kid will even wave at me. But I'm at Popcorn Friday and Xavier's like, give me dab. And, some of the boys from the football team, hey, Mama Carter, what's going on? And I'm fist bumping kids and taking selfies. And they're like, your kids talk to you? And I was like, your kids don't? Like, that's weird.
Right,
To
right.
me, I'm like high fiving everybody, like, what's up? What's good? The cool mom. Everybody wants to come to my house. And I'm like, I don't even know why they even want to be here. But they're like, everybody loves it here. And I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't know that. You know,
Cool. We've created an
yeah,
environment where people enjoy, yeah, where they can thrive.
yeah, just let them be who they are and, you know, of course, guide them and make sure they're just not doing anything dangerous. And I think if I keep them busy, then it keeps them out of stuff.
Right, right.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. Idle
Yeah.
hands at the
So that,
devil's playground. Is that the saying?
right. I'm like, you're going to do everything.
Exactly.
Everything.
Um,
Yeah.
you shared some of your challenges that you faced with the testing and whatnot. But what I want to know is, what are some of the achievements that you're most proud of, and why?
Some of the achievements I received rewards for having high sales. I didn't
Hmm.
know I
Hmm.
could do that. So I was very proud of that. Um, when I got nominated for being top salesperson in Washington State at the Coach store, I
Wow.
think that was probably one of to see my name
Yeah.
like in and I was like, what? I didn't even know they did stuff like that. So that was shocking to me. And I was so proud of that. Like, yeah, I'm doing it. Another achievement I feel was probably in the funeral business, the mortuary, just being able to help families say goodbye in a
Hmm.
way that helped
Yeah.
them
Yeah.
because I hate to down it down, but when um, when I did the because I was a cosmetician in that
Mhm.
industry as well. So just taking a picture and making them look like themselves was a huge relief.
Yeah.
So I felt very accomplished and proud of that. And most people would request that I, prepared their loved ones.
Mhm.
So that was one of my biggest accomplishments in that area. Um, and even in the real estate world, just to kind of shift there, helping first time home buyers, get their first home and that feeling that I felt when I walked into my home for the first time is unmatched.
Yes.
So trying to recreate that for families and anyone who, wants to buy a home,
Hmm.
it's that feeling that I'm the most like excited for, handing the
Awesome.
keys over.
Cool.
And it's like, you did it. What's up? Let's turn up. No. Closing gifts, balloons, the whole thing. But um, I think my hugest accomplishment is, you know, just getting up every day
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
you know, making it work.
I hear you. I hear
Yeah.
you completely. I'm
Yeah. I
glad.
think my family was my hugest accomplishment.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad you shared a little bit about the excitement of your real estate role and seeing the first home first-time home buyers, because my next question for you is going to be, what excites you about your current role in real estate? So you answered that
Yeah.
already. But
Yeah, it's the turn up afterwards.
right.
I feel very proud. I got you to the
Yeah.
closing table because there's so many things that can happen before
Oh
then.
yeah. Oh yeah.
That's behind the scenes that,
Yep.
real estate is like you're happy one day and then everything's going well. And then next thing you know, you're in a corner crying. And you're like, sliding down the wall like in a dramatic way, just kind of like, oh no. But then it's the roller coaster of it. It's definitely a roller coaster, but once you get to the end of the ride, you're like, ooh, I want to do that again.
Yeah. Yeah. I
You
hear you.
know, I like roller coasters outside of the fact that I close my eyes every time. And it's the sound, it's that click, 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 click when you go to the top
Mm-hmm.
of something. And
Mm-hmm.
next thing you know, you're like, now you're in it. You're on this ride, right?
Yep. Yep. So the click, click, click is like, yeah, we want to make an offer. Okay, let's go.
Right. Yeah, let's go. Zoom. Here we go. Oh, inspection time. Uh-oh.
Uh-huh. Exactly. That's
Down
the
payment
360
time.
loop. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Well,
It's that part.
how do you stay motivated then to keep evolving in your personal and professional life?
Okay, so my motivation, as crazy as it sounds, is like in a character in a Disney or Pixar movie
Okay.
where, like, the villains, they're always trying to take over the world
Mm-hmm.
and nothing's going to stop them. That's kind of how I picture like myself every time I wake up. I'm like, ooh, how am I going to take over the world today? You know, I have an evil laugh. No,
Gotcha.
I practice in the mirror. Um, but that's really what motivates me. Is how am I going to, you know, make my mark on the world and
Mm-hmm.
keep my kids and family happy. It's they're not going to be happy all the time, but we do fun stuff. So and my love of horror movies. Every Friday the
Ooh, nice.
13th, we have scary family movie night.
Okay.
And we watch horror flicks, even though we watch them all year round. But that night is particularly pick a movie, let's go through the movies. But
Yeah.
my main motivation is how can I do it better the next day?
Um, ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. How can I
How am
do
I gonna how am I
better
gonna
than?
do better the next day?
So let's just say you're giving advice to someone who's looking to reinvent themselves or explore a new career path. What's one piece of advice you could give that person? Similar to how you switched professions and reinvented yourself multiple times or evolved, I guess.
Um, I don't think I have like a one piece of advice.
Okay.
I think the main question is like why? Like what's your
Mhm.
motivation to move, right?
Okay.
Um what is it what's the end result?
Right. That makes
And
sense.
then I take that and go, you can evolve into anything you want to. You just have to, it's the visualization of it.
Hmm.
Like, how do you see yourself? Where do you see yourself? Why do you want to go into that? I actually had somebody ask me, um, well, I made a statement because this person was a videographer
Okay.
and really, really great at editing, doing film, wanted to have their own video production company, A, B, and C. And then I found out like they were a pharmacist and stopped. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, why are you a pharmacist? I'm confused. well, I needed something. It wasn't paying the bills and things like that. And I was like, I get it. And I said, but you shouldn't quit though. You're really good at it. Like, just stick
Right.
to it. Take the money that you're making at the pharmacy and put it into your business and do it in a way where, I mean, there is no failing. You fail
Right.
up.
Right. Yeah.
You know how you fall up? You
Yeah.
can, I fall up the stairs a lot. And, but you fall up, you're on a completely different stair. So,
Right. Right.
I just fall up. I try not to fall down. And if I do, it hurts. But, I take that moment and go, what is it teaching me?
Exactly.
Um,
Yep.
I probably need to fall so that way I can restructure, how to take the next step without it, without falling. And I mean, how I say 2 steps forward, 1 step
One step
back.
back. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's the whole jumping off the ledge. I'm very, which is probably how I reinvented myself. I
You just,
jump off cliffs
you just take
and
the
I
leap.
figure out how to fly on the way down.
Ah, I like that.
Yeah. And
Golden
if I
nuggets here,
splat,
everyone.
yeah. And if I fall on my face and it hurts, I get back up again and then I do it again. And I'm like,
You
okay, that didn't work.
you just jump from a lower cliff.
I just go on a different jump. Just go on a different ride. I'm like, I'll
That's
figure
cool.
it out.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know
really
how,
cool.
but I'm gonna figure it out. Yeah.
Right. Well, lastly, so talking about figuring it out, what does the future hold for you? What's next for LaFawn?
Taking over the world. No.
That's everybody, but
I know, right? I thought of the other day. Um, I would love to start a foundation.
ooh,
I think is something I'm futuristically planning, and
okay.
it's going to involve real estate and helping people, um, who probably possibly cannot afford to do so. Um, just giving back by taking my commissions and putting it into a foundation.
Nice.
Um, I would love to write a book. So, I don't know. I definitely see myself in real estate, long term, and traveling uh, the world. And I want to say hopefully, however, hope sounds like maybe I can't or I won't do something. Um, but the foundation is definitely something that I'm looking into doing.
That's really cool. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, I realized I was like, how old am I? Okay, if I add +5, what am I doing in 5 years? How old are my kids? Like, where do
Ooh,
I see myself? And then I wrote the numbers down and I was freaked out. I was like, oh my gosh,
I
my
write those
son would
numbers
be
down, so
21. Yeah,
throw it
like you
away.
don't think about that. Yeah. You're like, once you look at it on paper, it looks very scary.
Yeah, yeah. Yes,
Because
it
even
does.
though each year you're kind of doing the same thing, you have the same surroundings, but for some reason, there's something else for you.
Hmm.
So every time I looked at the 4 walls I was in, I envisioned myself in a different set of walls, in a different area or a different, I've always had visualization.
I like that.
So I think that's where I just kind of tunnel vision it. And I'm like, I won't be looking at these 4 walls for long. I wonder how long it's going to be before, that where you're standing in the middle of something and then it like a theater, the
Hmm.
background changes.
Hmm.
That's kind of how I see things.
Okay.
So I visualize it being different. And I'm like, up, time for a set change.
Ah, yes.
Turn the camera around.
Time
Yep.
for Act 3 or
Yes.
4 or whatnot. Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm on Act 100. Like, I've done so much stuff.
It's okay. It just means it's a great play
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
film.
My book is going to be the bomb.
There you go. Another chapter. Next
Yeah.
chapter. Yep.
The chapter
Awesome.
in it. I'm going to have a tell all. People going to be buying my book to see if they in it. Oh.
That's cool. Well, hopefully I'll be included in the awesome photographer portion of your book. So
I know. I thought about you and I was like, man, we did some really cool stuff. And I still have those photos.
Mm-hmm. That
for sure.
That was a lot of fun times there. Absolutely was.
Yeah. Yeah, that was cool. When I met you, we were in Balboa Park, I think, and you were shooting a model in a tree.
Yes. Actually, we started out at the graveyard, if I remember correctly.
Oh, what? I forgot about that. Oh, maybe that's where the mortuary came in. No.
There you go. The seeds were planted right then.
The seeds were planted and it grew from there. Oh, man. I appreciate you for sure.
Well, I thank you. And I appreciate your time and thank you for sharing your incredible journey and wisdom with us that you've gained along the way. Your story really is a testament to the power of reinvention, resilience, and really just staying true to your passions and true to yourself. So to our listeners, let LaFawn's journey inspire you to embrace change, pursue your dreams, and find fulfillment in every chapter of your life. So LaFawn, thank you for joining us here at the Supportive Ambition. And everyone out there, until next time, stay ambitious and stay supportive.
All right. I love that. Thank you.